And we're rolling. So a little update on the bar situation right now. We're still scheduling to try to open around February, thinking? February in 2023?
End of January.
End of January? Okay. Something in that ballpark range. Our bar is, we're almost at the point where we can begin construction, so that's a little update. But until then, we're still just podcasting like this. Or maybe sometimes I'll be in my house. But this is what we're working with for now. But anyway, man, yeah. How have you been?
Good. Yeah. Working lots. There's not much change. I mean, a lot of my time is going into family and into our business, and it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you get a lot of time to watch shows because watching shows is a big part of our life right now, right?
Yeah.
Do you still fit that in?
Oh yeah. I always get 6 hours sleep, right? So I come home, I usually put a show on or whatever, and we'll watch whatever. So I've been keeping up with Andor so far.
Oh,
and House of Dragons is amazing.
Oh, dude, so good, man. I mean, when I was trying to explain to someone the other day, they're like, "Oh, what's the show about?" I'm like, "Well, there's guys chopping off guys' dicks. There's
the first episode.
Yeah, and there's cousins trying to bang each other, and then he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "No. In all seriousness, though,
they're not cousins. They're uncle and niece.
They're related.
Yeah, they're related.
What more do you want from a show? That's the way I advertise it." And Buddy was just like, and there's dragons involved somehow, I'm like, yeah.
You know what's funny on that, the uncle and niece thing? I was talking to my dad, and I was like, what do you think of the show? I was like, I don't get it. Why is he always trying to sleep? Why is he trying to sleep with his niece? And I'm like, well, Dad, this is Game of Thrones. But also, remember when Jon Snow slept with Daenerys?
Yeah, but they didn't have the same hair color, so it was kind of cool.
I thought that was
okay.
That is literally his aunt.
Yeah, I know.
So, but we're all cheering that one on because Jon Snow and Daenerys were such awesome characters, right? So now when this comes in, Damien's kind of a weasel, but he's like that good bad guy you love because you love to hate him.
How is he a good guy? You said good bad guy. Where's the good? I fail to see.
Oh,
by the way, spoilers, people. Spoilers.
Yeah. He's more of an anti-hero in my mind. He's obviously trying to get his way to the throne, and he is the villain of this story. But his villainy isn't as crazy as Joffrey or Ramsay or I'm just compared to all the other villains. The Night King, all the villains of Game of Thrones, Damien isn't really a true villain.
He's just a weird guy, to be honest.
Yeah. He's my favorite character though, because when he's on the screen, I think he controls the entire show. It's awesome.
Well, you're also a big Doctor Who guy, right? Aren't you?
No.
Okay. Well, my brother and his wife are, and then so many other people love Doctor Who. I never got into that show, but apparently just because of his work in that world, that's why everyone loves that guy.
Matt Smith.
That's got to be the whitest name ever, by the
way. It's just Matt Smith.
Matt Smith.
He kind of even looks like a John Smith.
Yeah. But dude, I remember thinking about that Hightower guy. The King's Hand. He gets fired for literally doing the right thing. I just thought about that. I felt so bad for the guy, but there's so many correlations to that.
But he also
in real life.
Okay, yeah, sorry, but his ambition was also a little high. It's almost like that.
Because he's trying to keep the realm intact. Remember, he said because the king was like, "Hey, you're just trying to get in my position," but he said, "No, man. I'm doing my job to advise you when you can't see the main problems."
For sure.
And later on with the queen, Hightower, Alicent, is that her name?
Yeah.
She goes up to him, Alicent.
Yeah.
And she for a moment was like, "Dad, why'd you blow it? Why'd you get so hardcore and trying to get Aegon into the throne?" And then his dad's just like, "Chill. You don't realize this is going to start a civil war. I'm literally doing this not for me. Everyone keeps thinking I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because I'm trying to prevent chaos. Chaos is going to happen."
Yeah.
And obviously we already know what's going to happen. It's the Targaryen civil war. But again, I'm just man, how many times is doing the right thing just what's that quote? No good deed goes unpunished. Just crazy.
But I always thought his firing too kind of portrayed to Icarus. He put wax on his wings so he could fly, but then he flew too close to the sun, and then it melted all the wax, and he fell down and died.
This podcast is brought to you by Starbucks.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah, by the way.
Big sponsors. Number one.
We're shooting this in the morning, so we have no booze, so we're doing coffee instead.
Yeah, it's the next drug.
Sorry, you were saying about Icarus.
So Icarus is like that old Greek tale, like, you know, when your ambition kind of chokes you. So it's like...
Is that the moral of that story?
So he put wax on his wings so he could fly to the gods of Olympus.
Yeah.
And then as he's going towards the sun melted the wax on his wings and he fell to his death.
Okay.
Because his ambition choked him. So that's the whole premise of, you know, Icarus. And they kind of did that in that Eternals movie because the character was named Icarus. Okay. And then he flew into the sun at the end of it.
So wait, so what's the lesson there? Like, don't
your
like,
ambition
have limits,
can choke you.
Have limits to your ambition or something?
Like, let's take a delicate balance with everything, right? Like, you have to be ambitious and do all those things, but don't let it control you, because when it does, your ambition will choke you and you'll fall.
Weird. I mean, interesting, but at the same time, weird, because the whole point of having ambition is to have it be like unlimited, right? Like the sky's the limit, you know?
For sure, and that's dreaming big, but then, you know, you got to play the politics, you got to play the game, you have to be able to take your licks, and you can't just like...
It's just about like checking yourself, basically, check your ego, essentially.
Yeah,
okay.
It's essentially it. But,
okay.
And then you just always say the tale of Icarus, because it's like, your ambition, because honestly, he was pushing for Aegon to be on the throne.
Because he wanted to prevent a civil war, because like Rhaenyra is a woman, and that's never been happened
But he
before.
wanted to marry, Rhaenyra, why don't you just marry your brother?
Oh, I forget that part. But if that happened, then yeah, you're right.
He asked him. He asked the king. He asked, I have a better solution. Why don't you get Aegon to marry Rhaenyra, so that way...
Aegon would be the king anyway then, right?
Then he would be the king. Well, he'd be the... What do they call it? So it was the queen regent, like the king consulate is what they call it, right? Because it would technically be hers, but he'd be the king consulate.
Okay.
And,
They're just making up as they go at this point. I mean, you know, because like all of a sudden, it's a male-female thing.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you got Rhaenyra's marrying the Sea Snake's son, who turned out to be like secretly gay. Oh, what a crazy scene when his lover got his face like just crushed.
Remind me of when the mountain just picked apart the viper.
Yeah. Oh god. Oh man. Unrealistic though. I mean, like you're not gonna beat a guy's face in to literally a pulp without breaking your own hand.
He had gauntlets on.
Oh, he had gauntlets on.
Yeah,
oh, I thought it was bare fist.
No. He had like his gauntlet on, so it was like he was hitting him with metal.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, okay, never mind. I didn't miss that. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, like they're just making up as they go because that guy in theory is a male, so shouldn't he just become the king? But the deal of a series had was, you have to be a Targaryen or whatever, you know. Mm-hmm. And
a Targaryen needs to sit on the throne.
So they're just making it up as they go at that point, you know. I mean, if you're gonna be making it up as you go, you may as well try to like overthrow the throne, you know. I mean, like so that's where I see like Daemon makes sense, and plus I don't know, the whole world's just hell in general.
But I'm pretty sure, like in the books, like these are the kind of side stories that George R. R. Martin wrote. I'm pretty sure Daemon and Rhaenyra get together and marry.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh, shit.
If they go that way. So, I don't know. I'm like, holy fuck, how is he going to manipulate this situation? Because he's like a master manipulator. Like, look what that opening scene, holy fuck.
Yeah. That was one
just didn't
mouthy
say
wife, though. You know? Like, I mean, he was walking away. And then she's just like, what she says, like, oh, you come to finally consummate the marriage? Like, yeah. You know, and then... Didn't she take a dig at him that, you know, he can't get hard or something? I don't know. Or maybe I'm...
Oh, she was digging his ego for sure. Because she was like a strong woman, right? Like, she's a hunter. She's pretty much a knight. And she's out there hunting alone and doing her own thing. And then Daemon just stares at her and freaks out the horse and breaks her back.
Oh,
and
my God.
Bashes her head in with a rock.
Yeah. Well, she had a Christopher Reeve moment first. Remember how he steps on her arm and she's paralyzed?
Oh, yeah.
And even in that stage, he, like, lips him off. So I was just like,
yeah.
She hates him that much, I guess.
I mean, you know, and that's not a good thing. But Damien's just like orchestrating this entire plan to try to marry Rhaenyra. Like he's trying. So now he's single because he doesn't have a wife anymore.
Yeah. And
he also inherited her entire inheritance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. that was kind of funny.
That's real. So he gets the veil, and then now he has an obligation to the throne, and now he's just like. He's like sexually enticing Rhaenyra.
Yeah,
like,
hey, they were like making out on the dance floor.
I don't know if they actually did, but I think
they came close,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
If you saw your cousins or your uncle and niece getting that close, you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Fuck, yeah.
Like,
but she wanted it.
Yeah,
she's the one enticing. Well, why don't you just? Well, hey, I'm here for the taking. I'm not married yet. Like she said all those things.
Man, remember the last episode, the whorehouse or the pleasure
Sexy
house?
time one?
Like
It's sexy time.
Yeah, it was basically softcore porn.
Yeah.
But dude, I mean, I was just cracking jokes, but like, how unsanitary must that pleasure house be?
They don't know what germs are back then.
Oh God! Like I was just sitting there thinking, like, no, there's no way it was like that. Like it must have smelled horrendous.
What?
There must have been like schmagma everywhere, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That's why they don't live to like 32. Yeah. And they're all dead.
Because everyone's just like shooting schmagma into each other.
What disease does Viserys have? Is it
venereal
leprosy?
disease? Probably. I don't know.
Yeah. Is it? I think it's leprosy. Isn't he? Because he's losing his fingers, right?
What was the one Al Capone had?
Al Capone had a disease?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Al Capone died of what's that super one? The super sexy.
I thought he just died of tax evasion.
No, he got out of it. Al Capone went to jail because of tax evasion, but syphilis.
Oh.
Yeah, doesn't Viserys basically have syphilis? Isn't that syphilis? What's going on to him?
I have no idea. I thought it was.
I wouldn't know either. I mean, I'm just so clean, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't go to brothels in the middle of the night.
Jeez, I don't know, man. Love the show, but that place is hell.
Great.
It's great, but like if you were born there, I mean, like the best. I mean, every day is just a hellhole, like for everyone, you know. And the best time you get to do is go to this gross brothel with your niece. I don't know, like everything about it. I don't know. I was just like, wow. Like when you really bluntly put down like what is House of Dragon? You know, it's like it's this and that.
Yeah, it's all
like,
fight for the throne again. But it's like it's the ultimate power in the realm, right? So it always makes the story so interesting. Like really, the plot device of all of Game of Thrones or even House of Dragons is just the throne. Like you know how in all the Marvel movies, the main plot device was the Tesseract in all of them, right? Like this one's the Iron Throne. How do we get to the Iron Throne?
The Iron Throne sucks, though. I mean, like
it's the most dangerous seat,
dude. When Sir Christian Cole was like, "Hey, just run away with me," like we haven't just like seen the whole world yet. Like I've seen ships go off into the distance. I'm like, go with him. Like your life is horrible here.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's life is horrible.
And what are you gonna do? Fight against the Dothraki? Like you're wearing armor. You're gonna win.
Yeah, I don't know. There's ways out, and I just thought like everyone's pretty short sighted. That world seems pretty brutal, but I can't get enough of watching it. But if I was there, I don't think I'd be like, oh,
dude, I'm excited every Sunday to see it. I think it's just so well written. It's exciting, and like I gotta say, I don't want to compare the two, but it's not like Lord of the Rings is just it's missing its mark.
Yeah, I can't quite get into that as well, but like yesterday, I just had it on the background, but visually stunning though. Like I'm just like, holy crap!
$1 billion budget.
I can't even...
Dude, that budget is more than Endgame and Infinity put together.
God, their breakfast, lunch, and dinners on set must all be like gourmet.
Yeah, caviar.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we might as well. We have an unlimited budget.
But the show is what it's lacking is cruelty. So like in House of Dragons and all the Game of Thrones stuff, like they really kind of upped the game in this fantasy world, and they added the cruelty of humankind where. In Lord of the Rings, they're just like there's no crew. Like even the little warg thing fighting in their that slave pit of elves, like it didn't even it bit someone's guts, but it was like it was off scene, and like there's just nothing that's making us gross. Like think about the show like The Boys. Like how many awkward cringe moments are in The Boys?
Oh,
yeah. Like there's scenes that they make you, and same with House of Dragons. Like the first thing you said, there's a guy getting his dick shot off. Like right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like the cruelty of the show is what gives us the realism and what draws us attention. Like now we can't get enough of it, right?
Yeah.
Like with Lord of the Rings, I'm like, I could if I miss it, I miss it. I don't care because like what's really happening? And it's actually just repeating the same fucking story from the first 3 movies. Like that dude who she found in the ocean is actually
another
a lost
secret king.
A lost king, like just like Aragorn.
Yeah.
But Aragorn's story is like way better because
that was Viggo Mortensen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His story is way better because he's the lost king because he's like he's 87 years old in the show or in the movie. Yeah.
Viggo Mortensen's character is 87 years old.
Yeah,
and he's a man.
Yeah, so he's a duodan though, and he helped elves. So they gifted him. They kind of like cast a spell for him to have longer life. So he's not immortal, but he can live to like 200.
Okay, so he just ages way slower, kind of thing.
Yeah, so he's like at his prime at 87. But so at 87 at his prime, the shit he knows. That's why like no one could beat him in a sword fight because he's like, no, I've been surviving. Okay, I've been fighting for fucking 60 years. Like
All right, sorry, okay, but then we're nerding out hard here. But why do the elves aren't as like that good? You know, like I know they're good, but I'm saying they're alive for thousands of years. You think that they would be
full of themselves, and time's different for them.
So they do things so slow paced, probably. Hey,
yeah, and time just doesn't matter. Like a 20 years is like a blink of the eye. They don't see time like we see it because we see the world as more beauty because we're doomed inevitably, right? Yeah. Where they are not, so they don't see things. They don't care to learn things as fast or anything else. They just see time in a totally different aspect.
I guess you're right, because like they do talk like super slow all the time,
and they're so pretentious.
Oh yeah, Jesus. Then like how many hours a day do you think they spend grooming? Like, let's be honest.
Oh,
you know, like
oh, the sun just set. I just finished my hairstyle. I just
finished like combing my hair once again. You know, like I don't know. Yeah, but I get what you're saying, because Lord of the Rings. I mean, I still tune into it, but it's just in the background. Like yeah. I'm not like Game of Thrones. I mean, House of Dragon. I'm just watching it. Like, what happens next? Holy crap! Like, yeah. There's so much to draw. But speaking of shows, I finished Karate. Not Karate Kid.
Cobra Kai.
Okay, Cobra Kai. Did you finish that too?
Oh yeah.
Okay, man. Remember that last scene where Silver? He had this monologue that just stuck with me. I mean, we've heard a bunch, but he's like, you think just because you think you're entitled to win because your side is the right side and we're the wrong side? He's like, this isn't a fairy tale. Life's not a fairy tale. He's like, life's a competitive sport. There's no morals. There's just winners and losers. And Cobra Kai does whatever it takes to win. Then when I sat there, I was like, whoa. I had to replay that a couple times and like really let it sink in, because that's like real life. Like, how many times is like doing the right thing, it just gets you nowhere. But like kind of playing both sides gets you somewhere. But then sometimes going the opposite way, doing the wrong thing. Like in sports, for instance. Like I don't know if you're familiar with like all the steroid guys in the UFC, but like Chael Sonnen, for one, everyone loves that guy. Well, a lot of people love that guy. I love that guy, but he notoriously was using every drug. He got busted for every single drug, and he came clean. Just like, yeah, I got busted. And they're like, well, how long did this go on for? He's like, I'm only going to talk about this failed drug test, which leads you to believe he's been doing it since he was a little kid.
Yeah,
but
and other shit as well.
Yeah, but then and then like Michael Bisping actually likes Chael Sonnen, for instance, right? But then Michael Bisping got his eye knocked out by Vitor Belfort, who was using every steroid when they fought, and he hates Vitor Belfort. So then again, I'm sitting here like, yeah, why can't I have the same negative opinion on Vitor as I do for Chael? But in fact, I like them both, but they're all using steroids. And then,
but isn't that a thing? Like, isn't that an unspoken thing in the UFC? Like, everyone's using. You just got to use it the right way.
If you can get past their super tests now, but but their super tests now it's just so inconvenient. Like, you can probably get past it still, but like you basically give someone permission to, from the instant you're in their testing pool.
The contract you sign.
Yeah, like basically, if you're on the roster, someone can knock on your door whenever, and you have to go pee into a cup, basically. And then if you're leading more close to a fight, they will for sure be testing you. At least I think. And the more famous you are, then the more you get tested. But even that, like, so if you're gonna like, you basically have. I mean, I'm not a steroid expert or nothing, right? But like, but I don't know. Eventually, I wouldn't mind hopping on some gear, but it's like you would have to spend all your time, I would imagine, like dodging that test too.
And this is a question of integrity, but like, couldn't there be a backdoor? Like, okay, these testers have to be paid a lot, because honestly, say they get knocked out the door and like, Jones is there. He's like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And then
he's like talking like Joey from Friends. What's up? How you doing?
How you doing? So he's like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, you know what? You want to test me, or I'll give you $1 million if you don't test me.
Maybe, dude. That's what I'm saying with Cobra Kai, the show. Like,
yeah,
because like Silver paid off the refs. Silver did this. I'm like, life is just that.
But in the NFL, the refs are paid quite handsomely, so they don't take bribes.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, how much are these testers actually paid for by the UFC to say like, hey, don't take a bribe? Because honestly, I bet you they're offered.
I know, of course they're offered, dude.
And they're like, yeah, no, he passed. Oh, where's the testing? He just like uses his own piss. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, there's a thing called the whizzers, a fake penis. Like, literally. Because, like, the guy has to watch you pee. That's how weird it is. Like, he basically gets free sexual assault on you. He gets to, like, look at your genitals. Because it's part of his job.
Oh, he's a doctor.
They're not doctors.
They're not doctors.
USADA guys aren't doctors. I don't even know who they are.
That's why testers aren't doctors. Yeah, they are. They're testing drugs.
The testers might be, but the guy knocking your door, I don't know who he is. That's what Chael Sonnen kept saying. It's like, he was just like, I don't know who this guy is, And then for some reason...
You don't have to know him for him not to be a doctor, though. Like, Just because you don't know them.
I know they're not doctors, dude.
Okay. I'm just because someone knocks on your door and you don't know them doesn't mean they're not.
Okay,
a
you
doctor.
know what? Maybe I don't. I'm 99% sure they're not actual doctors. I don't know who they are, but like Chael Sonnen, for instance, he told a story about he had to be like. He got brought into some fucking closet to go get like I'm like if I'm in the same area I'm like those guys are gay and they're about to go in the closet.
Yeah, 7 minutes in heaven.
Well, yeah. Well, the guy even whips out a spandex glove or something.
Oh
my I'm like, so this is what it takes to be a fighter, hey? But no, man. But anyway, but the whole Cobra Kai speech from Silver, I was just like, so true, summarized so eloquently. Like when you're a little kid, you think life is a fairy tale, and you watch all those Disney movies, and you think, oh, everyone's good. And then the older you get, and you realize how the world actually works, and you're like, wow, we're all pieces of shit, just varying degrees of it. And, and we try not to be, but it's kind of hard not to be.
You do your best, and it's good. It's like what Jordan Peterson always says is like, don't lie or try not to, just lie the least amount and try to keep your integrity, right?
Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just like keep your integrity and just try to be, but you also have to be, dangerous with your words and everything else. And
yeah, I think it's just meaning like, dude, just I don't know. Like it seems a bit common sense when to lie and when not to lie, but I don't know. But I'm just saying, you start to realize like everyone who's super ahead, they're cheating the system somehow, some way. Like, I mean, maybe that's why
they have the courage to do it.
They have the courage to do it, and the tactical, like they've controlled their anxiety and whatever. Because everyone's always like, oh, there's a karma and blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't know. Like everyone keeps saying Donald Trump's this horrible guy, but I'm like, well, where's his karma then? The guy was the president of the United States, and for sure he
his karma is that everybody hates him.
Most people hate him. I mean,
that's his karma.
Yeah, but
he's not well liked.
But what does he truly care about that?
But that's the thing, right? Like he's just not well liked. He's butt into pretty much every joke.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I think
and that's the karma, right? Like it's not like karma. Like I don't personally think karma exists. I think it more exists like, hey, if you go around treating people like an asshole, then you're an asshole, and everyone's gonna treat you that way, right? That's not karma coming at you. It's just the way you're treating the world. So if you're going around doing bad things happen to you.
But that's not even true. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, like they are doing all this bad stuff, and somehow like he's rich, unlimited power. I mean, well, who knows what's happening now? Because apparently they found documents in his Mar-a-Lago or whatever, like literally boxes saying secret, like confidential.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I guess he took things out of the White House on his way out, and no one knows what it is.
Diet Coke cases.
yeah. I don't know, but
I can't believe you had that button.
What do you mean? You had a button to get Diet Coke delivered?
Yeah. Oh. So he presses a button and then fresh Diet Coke and ice comes right to him.
That's amazing.
In a glass. Yeah. Do you remember that Family Guy when they made fun of him and they kept pressing that?
Oh.
When he kept on hitting his head on the button,
frick.
and then like
the
Diet Coke's coming.
Okay, dude. I didn't catch on to that.
That's a real thing.
I know he drinks a lot of Diet Coke, but I didn't realize he got to the point where he's like, "Hey guys, first thing for my liquid needs, I need Diet. I only consume Diet Coke.
I'll pay for a button."
Yeah, set it up, and then we'll get to the rest of running the country after.
Yeah, I need to think. Let me get a Diet Coke to think.
Yeah. What would yours be?
By the way, this episode is brought to you by Diet Coke.
Yeah.
My drink? Oh, my drink? I don't know.
Not even drink. Like, if you were the president and you were like, or whatever, you have unlimited power. What's like a ridiculous service or thing that you're just gonna be? You know what? Like,
it's a good question.
I'm gonna make it so it's like this because I can. Like when like singers are like, "Ooh, I only want yellow Skittles." Which is wrong. No one wants just the yellow Skittle, by the way. Like,
yeah.
Like they're like, want Skittles, but only the yellow Skittles. Like, ready for me in my room. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I love fucking beef jerky.
All right.
If ever I'm just hungry and I want a snack, I get beef jerky.
Seems like an easy request.
Yeah, and also like I love it on road trips. So if I'm president, I'm on Air Force One, I want beef jerky.
All right.
And some teriyaki ones. I know they kind of stink, but I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like if I needed something to think, like I just love coffee a lot too. So I usually want a room of silence, and I would like sit in that chair, like get the hell out of the room, and I need to think, and then I'll come up with a plan.
All right. Fuck.
To the best of my knowledge, anyways. But that's how I would operate. I'd also remove food stamps and all the other nonsense.
You seem very easy to please. All those are very easy requests. Yeah. I mean,
I don't need much.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would just be some weirdo. Like, I'm like, okay, like every hour on the hour, someone better be rubbing my traps, you know, like just
like on
just
the
come
Poker
in and
Stars,
start doing it.
like the guy, like you never watch like poker tournaments and there's like a person behind.
No,
them?
there's someone doing that.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Yeah, they like sit there. So they put a cushion like in front of their like their chest. They'll sit there, get their cards or whatever, and there's someone behind, like putting their elbows in and like just massaging.
Really?
Their
I've never
shoulders.
seen that before. Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
What
You know, they're so, you know, they're working real hard, you know.
well, a lot of money's online,
but also the mind work, yeah, it's exhausting for sure.
Okay, but what about like the guy massaging you? How do you know he's not cheating? Like he's like looking at your cards and then like winking or something, like has some kind of system for the rest of the team. Like you know, it just seems kind of weird that someone's allowed to be like massaging you in the middle of like a high stakes poker game. Like, could you imagine that in like that Bond casino?
Maybe they step away. They step away for like when they're in a hand, but if they fold out in a hand, they massage them. So like say like they looked at the cards and then they folded, then they get the massage. And then, like, not why they're, like, doing this. Because, honestly, picking up the card and having someone do this could hit your chips. Or it wouldn't make sense. So it's probably
You're
when
like,
they're
Manuel,
not
like,
playing.
what the fuck, Manuel? Like, you just made me go all in.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
didn't go all in, but you had pocket aces. Okay, it's cool.
Yeah. The dealers are like, no takesies, backsies. You're like, fuck, man. I got nothing. Like, I got the 2 high card. Like,
yeah. I got 2 and a 7. Shit.
Jeez. Fuck, that'd be that'd be such a ridiculous situation. Okay, hey man, we're like already at 25 minutes here.
Yeah, let's call it for now, and we'll start another quick show next week.
Yeah, all right. Have a good day, everyone.